I think we're on. Yep, we're on. Good
Yes.
morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Have we gained any sense of sanity in the last week? Probably
No.
not. It's just bad. It's still going bad.
Well, they're out there. I don't know how bad it is because I don't watch it. People will tell me things, and I'm going, okay, I have to suspend my period of disbelief so I can honestly take this in. But and it's not that I'm off on a cloud or anywhere, but nothing sticks. If my kids tell me something awful happened one day, it's like now
Flooding.
yeah, flooding's awful, but it's like they were like, my youngest, that's a computer expert, was saying, well, good luck with the computer companies and the cell phone companies with the things that were going on with China. And then yesterday it was announced, well, maybe they're going to have to rethink the tariffs about computers and all this stuff. I mean, these guys have done, well, they put tariffs on 2 islands full of penguins. So, obviously their attention to detail is lacking.
Yeah, nonsense. And then the same with the immigrants. Oh, we're not going to deport hospitality, agricultural, construction, immigrants. Just everyone else. Cause all this mayhem and then say that crap. It's just, cruelty is the point. Oh my God, do we have to cosplay Christy?
No, the thing is, dear Tro, ask backwards. You've got to, there has to be some substance. I mean, unless we're going to do a spiritual read, and the other side doesn't want to own her either. So,
I remember a few weeks ago we did a weekly reading that the end of April was going to be chaotic. Thank you, Jeff. Why don't we check that out now? The next 2 weeks in April.
Okay, I'm going to put him in the garden.
That sounds good. Try a garden read.
Yeah.
See if it's chaotic or it's settled down, because there was a lot of chaos. And I wonder what that chaos was.
Did you feel the full moon last night?
No, I slept good. No energy fluxes. Hey, Beverly. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, it's always kind of nice. Scott and I are always amazed when we're here on Sunday mornings, too. So don't be.
Pretty much. Darn weekends. Next week, this week. Let's see. What we got?
Okay.
There might be someone walking away this week.
Who's walking? Oh, I think some people are going to start talking. I don't know who they're going to talk to because the press is so asleep. In Dallas, we had the largest civil demonstration we've ever had a week ago. Our local newspaper, the Dallas Morning News, did not even cover it. Not a word. And some former journalists from there that are retired, they all got on Facebook and were screaming about it. This happens in your city and you don't pay any attention. But I guess they don't want to be dragged from their homes or something. I don't know what they think is going to happen. Yay. Boop. 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 Making everyone sick. I'm sorry, I should have set the garden up first.
Good morning, Crown Zone. Okay. So this week I got the 5 of coins. There's going to be some lack of substance this week. A lot of deception kind of feelings. But I have the world coming in. So there might be completion of something that affects a lot of people. And then 8 of Cups and a male.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a male could be resigning that affects all of us. Lack of money. It sure gives that Elon feeling because he's the one that's losing most of the money with the 5 of Coins.
Can't happen fast enough.
And then I have a celebration, 9 of Cups. Some kind of toasting and celebration. So that's that energy this week. People leaving possibly.
Okay, what I got is we're going to start with restate, this little space. And what restate really means is in the garden, it's an area in the garden that's full of weeds, but all those weeds really can have a function. You just have to figure out what it is. So you have to really think things through. And we have our grounding is in restate, which is rethink right now so that we're not blinded by fool's gold. So if something like an Elon disappears, that's not going to change the world. That's just step one. If it is Elon, it could be Peter Navarro. God, is that guy stupid? Anyway,
this is true.
That man is alarmingly stupid. Spirit, this stone, the amethyst, has fallen in path forward. And it says, blend your energy because we're moving ahead. So bring your spiritual energy, your mental energy, your physical energy all together so you can move ahead. And it's also grounded in earth, which says the spirit's transforming right now, but it's not yet finished. So this is not the finish week. But thoughts are growing this week because the earth is where things grow out of. That's the Mind Stone. It says, don't be tied to false energy to the past. So the fact that things have not worked out the way we thought they would in the past, don't be tied to that. Don't think, oh, but this is never going to really happen. Because it is, it really has a possibility of happening. We have our body in fire and earth. And when it's in earth, it says physical changes are coming. And when it's this as much, it's, we need to hold on to our own values of the past that are important, the ones that are going to, that what this country is really built on, instead of falling for the new values, instead of falling for the 30-second sound bites and all that stuff. Go back to what feels real and genuine to you. And our clarity is also in fire. Fire is, if you know shamanic things, it's the South, it's our ancestors, it's where it's dealing with our past and growing from there. And for our clarity, use ideas you've had from the past that have been successful to move you forward. So that ties together with this stone and the fact that don't think because one thing changes, it's all going to change, but it's clearly moving in an upward path. So that's what I see happening is I see a lot of Congress people deciding that they need to go spend time with their families.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I do. I think that a lot of them feel very threatened. They feel not only threatened by Trump and his little minions, but I think they're starting to figure out that some of those rifles that are owned in this country are owned by the side that doesn't like what's going on. And when they find out that they're, like I was telling Scott, it's just come out more widely in the press or in ways you can find it, that 50% of the pork or more that's raised in the state of Texas goes to China. And now it's going to have no place to go. And so my daughter and I, who I enjoy a good pork chop as much as anybody else or a nice loin roast, but I don't think I could eat, if I started today, I could eat all the pork that's going to be left over.
Yeah, I looked at the week after too.
Mm-hmm.
It was some cards. It feels pretty chaotic next the week after. There could be some threats.
This is the calm before the storm.
Yeah. Some kind of military threats. I don't see the martial law thing. Everyone talks about
Mhm.
420 martial law. But I have that Knight of Swords along with some Ten of Wands burdens associated with a Queen of Cups. That's usually my United States card. It's, feminine energy, but there may be some threats there. But I got the liar and deceit card along with it. And there's also threats from the courts, the King of Swords. So I got some judges and whatnot pressuring. So I think there may be some threats going on within military action or something. It's all distractions with that Seven of Swords. So I think it ramps up with the judges laying the law down. Ken Paxton should be in prison.
Unless he flew out last night. Yes, he's here.
Who's that?
I mean, he's one of the big three that's running amok in Austin. Ken Paxton is the one who they've been trying to. He got indicted 10 years ago for some stock fraud stuff, and then he's attorney general. He created a whole department. Anyway, he tried to get his staff to do things that were illegal. So they all in mass, his entire legal staff quit his department and blew the whistle on him and on what he was doing. And he refused to pay. He said all sorts of hideous things about him, how they did it and he didn't, and all this stuff. Anyway, they had a court case and the whistleblowers won. And they won $6.5 million between the three young attorneys that were part of it. Now, how much of that they'll ever see, because they had to hire some pretty good attorneys to get away with that. But Ken Paxton was ruled this week he has to pay it.
Good.
So Ken's not happy, and his wife is in the state legislature,
Senate,
Angie, and she had to vote on him being impeached. She did not vote to impeach him. I guess she wanted to go home.
The corruption there.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
then he thinks he wants to be a senator, taking on the other one,
Cornyn.
Yeah, he wants to run for Senate against Cornyn.
Well, that's okay. Ted Cruz spoke out against Trump this week. Ted was really desperate for a headline.
Yeah,
I think the headline down here was, which side of Ted's mouth did this come out of?
I don't know if people have seen in the chat, but 45 was flew Air Force One from Palm Beach to Miami, which is an hour drive, for the USC fight. And he shook RFK's hand, but not Cheryl Hines' hand. He just dissed her. But Elania was there with his little axe on his shoulder. But anyway, the Nazi sympathizer and racist dude got taken out quick. The Trumper guy got.
Oh, really? That's good.
So everything he touches dies.
Yeah, especially in rigged wrestling. I mean, how can you lose if it's rigged?
I don't know. This is a little more brutal, so I don't know. I don't watch this stuff. I don't know if it's rigged or not for this stuff, but
it takes us down a long, nasty road we don't want to be on.
Okay. So that Judge Enos ordered daily updates on getting them back. And supposedly yesterday, I see they're supposed to give the judge and the public every Rose Blue posted a question to start at. Uh, it's tough to go back, hon. But anyway, yeah, the government's supposed to give daily updates. Yesterday, they gave some kind of nonsense, but said he's alive. Everyone's saying, "Oh yeah, bring him back with that state visit," because El Salvador president's supposedly coming. But anyway,
Well, the judges, the question from Rose Blue is, will the lawyers be told to bring their toothbrushes when they come to the hearing about why that guy hasn't been let go? Which is
basically the same thing, yeah. But I guess let's see if he's going to be brought back. Judge seems serious and ready, and talked about ready for contempt charges if you don't start facilitating. So what's going to happen here? Bring Mr. Garcia back. Okay.
Something's changing. That's the Ace of Wands in this deck.
Ugh,
Mine says, yeah,
the
they're
devil.
he's going to be back. I don't know. They're going to bring him out in Air Force One, but he's going to be back because they need an end to this. That's the Ten of Swords. That's the kitties have taken over the kitchen. That's Ten of Swords. They need an end to this. And they've sat as long as they can on hiding it. That's the Four of Cups. And it's time to do the Empress move, bring them home, make it seem whole. But still, what about the 14-year-old kid who had nothing to do with anything that's down there?
Yeah, there's still 200 or whatever not supposed
and
to be.
And they have a bunch of them that they never got to the loading dock, apparently, and they're here in Texas. And I don't even know which jurisdiction has them. But I do know, what's that Blackwater thing? I think he's setting up camps again to train people. Eric Prince.
There's I guess there's somewhere they're giving a contract to some company, a buddy, whatever, to set up camps, basically. Camps, basically. Yeah, I think they're gonna have to do it at some point. Because they got the Three of Wands, so that'd be reaching outward from a distance, and Six of Wands is a victory. Good news, and then Eight of Pentacles working on it. That's the current situation. And it shows in the past everything was just deception, just to lock people up. The Moon, do it deceptive ways, and an Eight of Swords just to lock people up. So yeah, there's a disastrous move. So I think this is the Judge. The Emperor's got the control. They got the Hangman. It's kind of a transition, kind of stuck, but then there's a Tower moment where there will be a drastic change. Yeah, that could be an order. Knight of Cups riding in with goodness. The Sun, I think everything gets exposed with this whole horrible operation. Three of Swords and Ace of Pentacles. So everything does, in the end, get satisfied. Who's not there is not supposed to be there, but there obviously could be a lot of pain and suffering and injured and sick people from this.
A lot of sick people are going to walk out of that.
But eventually all the cruelty has to come to an end. their fascism move isn't going to work. But it's a matter of facilitating it all and actually telling the truth, because they don't want to take the L. Because all the MAGA folks are loving it.
Till their family members go. Wait till neighbor starts turning neighbor in. And a lot of these MAGA folks don't get along all that well within themselves. So if we get to that point.
I don't think 45 is involved. He's been involved with two other stuff. He's more worried about staying out of jail than running a trafficking ring.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean he doesn't know the people who are up to their eyeballs in it, including Matt Gaetz. But
let's throw quick.
Okay.
Just to see if it's going to get that far.
I'm gonna ask my bunny deck. It's a much happier deck.
It feels like it's really close, and then they finally facilitate the order. All the messaging is stressing them out. Yeah, they'll work on it.
They're working on it. I get a yes and a no. The threat is seriously there.
Yeah, the threat is there. I don't see it happening.
I don't see it coming till summer. They're laying the groundwork for it right now. But you know what everybody's waiting on to see where the Supreme Court's really going to end up on any of this crap. So come summer, these judges are kind of free. Now, I do get someone ends up in jail. That's the Eight of Swords.
Good.
But I think, the Supreme Court stops on the first week of June. First Monday in June is their last day. And then all they can do is things they can do when they throw pieces of paper under their door. They don't actually have to come out and talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the courts are trying to see where is the Supreme Court going with all this stuff. Yeah, we're in one, Indigo Child.
Yeah, if they start, not following orders and they're on the brink, it's close.
And they didn't stop the Pentagon from demanding that everybody in those divisions that Elon's little minions went through, that the Doge went through, that well, I guess you kind of, when you're in the military, they say you're going to take a lie detector test, you're going to take it whether you like it or not. But none of that stuff's come out.
Okay, full read here.
Okay.
Much more damage. Are we gonna have 4 years, or what's gonna happen here?
I'm going to ask if we can do 4 years of this.
Oh, thank you, Carrie. Blessings for the super sticker.
Thank you.
Okay. How much more damage? How much more damage?
Are we doing damage or are we going to survive 4 years? Which way are you going with it?
I'm looking at the forest part. Concentrating on damage. The infliction. No, Liz, I don't see this martial law. There's like a rope-a-dope feeling. It's like they're going to threat something, but it's not going to come to fruition.
Oh, we're not going to have to put up with 4 more years of this. That's what I get. I got the sun right in the middle. Sunshine's going to come in. and clean things out. They're going to be foolish and walk off the cliff. And they're horrible. I mean, they can't even screw things up right. You know, they mess up at screwing things up. They're not, it's because the ruler's not there. I get the ruler's not there. And the government he's trying to leave behind him isn't there either. And so what we end up with is the sun. So I don't think we're going to have to survive 4 years of this, but we just have to go through what we have to go through while it's happening.
Okay. Oops. Let's see another question in the star. Rose, Nebraska can't handle 3 more months. A lot of people can't handle 3 more months.
Most people can't handle their life and where they live without a paycheck. So that's not even 3 months. That's like a month.
Okay. My full read. In the past position, I got exposing the truth with the Ace of Swords, Death card, and Strength. Exposing everything is how it's meant to be with this administration, with these people. You know, I think the Constitution holds, you know, ending of a cycle, but exposing everything with that Ace of Swords. So that's just, it feels like that's the purpose. Expose these all as frauds, let people know what the heck's going on. Hopefully it sinks in. Right? And then I have the world. It's affecting the world, definitely. With the Six of Cups, we've been there, done that. And then the Tower. So this administration will crumble, and quickly. So this is not feeling like a 4-year gig.
No.
Moving forward, I got the Seven of Cups. All that glitters is not gold. We're dreaming up things. The Lovers and the Knight of Pentacles. What does that mean of damage? They're forging ahead. The connections we had are forging ahead, but we made a mistake. That's the way it's feeling to me. Those three together really don't give me a boom boom. It's kind of like feeling like we've lost. We lost our partnerships. We can see that now. We lost our partnerships. We're going to forge ahead anyway. Outcome, Three of Pentacles. Working together, making new orders. King of Wands. We got a natural born leader standing up. It's a male, though, not a female. Ace of Pentacles. Our future is told of love. And then the final card is Three of Wands. Our horizons work together. I think things are going to be good. It's going to be chaotic, but I don't see this happening 4 years. And the odd thing is here, we have a man stepping up to the plate, not a female. Yeah, I think it comes crumbling down. There's 2 rows here. I got a lot of crumbling going on. We got a Tower coming in and a Death in 2 different sets here. So I don't think it's going to be 4 years.
No.
What's that mean? Can you get a season for timing?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I got to throw that in the garden.
Let's see. What were the cards? I got a lot of major arcana there. It's just tough to say where
That's
seasonal there. Wands are spring.
right. And cups are summer.
Cups are summer. Yeah, I had a mixture of everything. So as far as that read, I wasn't looking for that.
Okay. Okay, we want the timing on when it all falls apart.
Yeah, when our tower and death happens.
Okay.
When tower and death card happens.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see.
Okay, for those of you who don't know how to look at the garden, this is winter, spring, summer, fall. We're about to go into summer, so when will he all fall down?
So I'm grabbing my deck to randomly try to find timing. First one comes out, the tower in July.
Yeah, I got summer too. I got it's moving fast because it's the grounding is in air, and when that happens, it's be sure we know what we're asking for when we're asking for it, because it's going to come suddenly. And our mind and our body are going to be combined. There's going to be problems. There's going to be a lot of, but we've never done this before. Well, we've never done this before, so that's the truth. But the best stone on here for us, this quadrant gives us the timing. The stone that in the tree of life, which stones don't fall there often, and it's clarity. And it says, at this time, things are blessed with clarity and wisdom. So summer is it. Summer. And I'd say, I kind of divide the seasons into 3 months. I'd say it's going to be June, early July. I don't think he's going to have his military parade through downtown Washington.
Yeah, I think I sense it's in the planning, but it seems like it collapses or something doesn't happen.
Well, the first couple tanks will make it fine, but after that, they've chewed the roads up and they fall into the sewage system. So that's why we've never had massive parades.
We need more than the orange one to have safety and justice and security. So, does this tower moment include JD Vance and Johnson?
Might be that's my nice kitty cards. I'm going to use my weird cat tarot for JD Vance because he's a weird cat.
Prosperity. The security is lost. King of Cups. Another male comes ferreting in, taking control. And then we have an energetic, powerful government. Gosh, it sure looks like it. And then I get balance and better times. There's no bad card in here about our future. Yeah, it starts out prosperity lost.
Yeah.
There, because I was looking at Vance and Johnson. Their prosperity is lost.
I got the 10 of Pentacles upside down.
And then I get a King of Cups come riding in with the Chariot. There's another male coming in.
I got that the Four of Wands is collapsed, and the Five of Swords, they're not in a position to be able to steal. All their power is taken away for them to be able to steal. They're feeling the pain. That's the Three of Swords. It's right through the heart. Their prosperity is gone, gone, gone. And someone in the end is building a new future. So I'd say, bye-bye, Mikey.
Stephen Smith is a sports commentator. Black man.
Oh.
He seems to think he has the reputation to run for president someday. he ain't going anywhere.
Okay.
We could check on this for timing. I mean, I don't think he's even gone overseas for anything, has he?
No.
He's never left the States. JD Vance and his other hoodlums have went.
JD went to Greenland and got a visit.
Left 3 hours later.
Right. Sort of like a drive-by at an airline terminal.
Will the orange man go to the UN General Assembly? He's not welcome anywhere currently. JD Vance isn't welcome anywhere. Elon Musk isn't welcome anywhere.
Mm-hmm. I think they're welcome in Turkey.
I don't think we have to worry.
Oh, July 7th.
Tower. First 2 cards, no.
No, I got no's on him reading. And it's because he's not there anymore. Someone's already taken the keys away from him.
Something major sure feels like it's going to happen. There's a lot of towers coming out. Every toss has had a tower. Oh, my lordy. Crazy. Is your governor ever going to call for a special election?
He's going to be forced to. He's not going to do it on his own. Although the Constitution says he has to. I don't know. He hasn't gone to the Supreme Court here yet. Our Supreme Court, which is also not. I do know some judges that sit on the Supreme Court, as in they're friends of mine. I'm not going to call them up and ask them because I won't call.
Yeah, 5 cards. I'll say he has to. It'll eventually happen. 6 of Swords is the end card happening. My Empress card, Knight of Cups. These are all cards of getting things done. Sure looks like it. Tower is the card of the day. No matter what happens, it's still going to take time. Government just doesn't get in focus after something happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take time with the chaos and reorganizing how the heck we do this stuff. So it feels like right now a July is a reorganization tower. It could happen sooner. This is true, Earth Mama. You start messing with our money, you're in trouble. Oh my God, I seen that. Byron Donalds wants to run for governor
of Florida. I saw that.
What a fool. He thinks he could actually run and win in Florida. Let's see if he gets a tower. 3 cards for the giggles. Does Byron Donalds have any chance winning governor in Florida?
I just posted a link.
Princess Casey still thinks wants to.
She doesn't want to do it. Didn't you see Cash's drawing on that? She's on the back of a flatbed truck, gagged and tied and being pulled along. She didn't want to go there. I just put a link in for something that might interest. It's in 2 parts, but I'll tell you what it is. It's a town hall with, I'm blanking on names. Jasmine Crockett's part of it, and another woman that I'm sure everyone will recognize her name immediately, although I'm blanking completely. Um, and they're doing a town hall. It's going to be on Zoom tomorrow night, and it might be interesting to see. I'm going to see. It's supposed to be on my calendar. Let's see.
Byron Donalds is Tim Scott Light. He's black MAGA. Yeah. He always tries to go on CNN to act all smart and he gets shot down.
Mm-hmm. See if I can do better.
I don't know. My cards show a lot of hope for Democrats. I got all cups. No Byron Donalds.
It's looking good for Dems. Let's see.
If you can cut the distance in those special elections by half, that's progress. Oh, good. Kim Reynolds is not going to run again. That's good for Iowa.
Yes. Oh, she can see the handwriting on the wall.
COVID Kim. Okay. Okay, I looked at that already. That's true, Evelyn. Every Republican state decided hurting seniors was more important. Hi, wait, white tea social. Okay. What you looking up, Nancy Jean?
I'm looking up how to get to that town hall.
Okay.
I'm getting there. Not as fast as I would like. I know. Oh yeah, apparently Jasmine Crockett caught all kinds of flack because she called him Governor Wheelie, our beloved governor, who is in a wheelchair, and he wasn't hurt. He is not a child of an illness. Let me see where it is. Okay, it's Project 2025. It's Heather Cox Richardson and Jasmine Crockett on the 14th. If you go to Red Wine and Blue, they're sponsoring it. It's a virtual event that they're helping to fund. It's Monday at 7 p.m. and I don't know which 7 p.m. that is. You're going to have to do a little more exploration on your own. They're going to be discussing what parts of 2025 have already been implemented. So it's Red Wine and Blue. You can look it up under their website.
I've seen that before. That channel or
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I listen to Heather once in a while if I can find a video. What happens to our food safety? It sucks, definitely. But my cards kind of show it's going to be somewhat okay. It's not showing like, hidden diseases breaking out or anything, but I think there's going to be enough there to protect, but there is going to be some chaos with like there's a lot of protection cards around, but I got like the Seven of Wands is in between people on top, and then like the Four of Swords surrounded by Ace of Wands and a Hermit. So it's like there is chaos, but not full blown. What I'm sensing with this. because I mean, we see a change coming down the future. So
Yeah.
shutting down now, yeah, it causes harm, but it feels like things get back in order. But it's going to take a long time. You know, like would like these government workers even want to come back with that chaos? And that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks, Lisa Foster. She put it up with the red wine balloon.
Oh,
Red
good.
wine.
Thank you for finding the good, the easy to find link. The link I got was sent to me in the mail, and it's like 400 feet long.
Jeff, I don't watch Steve Schmidt anymore.
I don't watch Steve Schmidt, and I never did because he sold us all out. He didn't care. When he was a political consultant, he didn't care. He helped get all these people in these offices, and it's when they turned on him, that's when he felt the pain and he started squealing. The best thing Steve Schmidt can do is to appeal to people who liked him at the time that he was on. That's that. Trust me, it's like, everybody praising Liz Cheney and she should have been, because when she stood up to them and she tried her best to get what she wanted done. But would I trust her the day after she got everything she wanted? Absolutely not. She'd be back there. She never said anything about, women's rights or anything else. Daddy can buy her all the rights she wants.
Y2 Social on that question. Can you be a little more specific? Like Muslim forces, like what forces? Because I don't really see
the Balkans. The Balkans are divided into three groups: the Catholics, the Russian sort of Orthodox, and the Muslims. And those three, they were all in their own countries, and they all fought each other. It was only after World War II that we forced them to become Yugoslavia. But actually during the Russian occupation, they actually got together because they all hated the Russians. But there are some who think that they could turn the Muslims against the Christians in the Balkans, that they could refire up that prejudice. I don't know. YT Social, watch it. Call us next week and let us know. There's so many other things, as far as I'm concerned, that we need to watch in the world. And that includes, Russia still beating up on Ukraine and all that stuff. But that's where it comes from. I remember when...
To me, it feels like they're protecting their homeland. I don't see an expansion.
No. Now, some of the countries that have been emptied, that are Muslim based, that have been turned into war-torn, gutted no places, there may be a lot of people that come out of there that might want to come up and fight in Europe. And that's what some Europeans that are still based on the paradigm of the Crusades, which only go back how many centuries? They still think that they want to come back and get them. That's old. All we can hope for is when the enlightenment that's coming towards all of us, or surrounding us now, or we're transitioning to, hits, that goes away. That level of hate.
I haven't heard much about this, sweet darling, but is there rumors that they're sending troops to Panama?
Yes, they're trying to put them on ships.
Oh, great. Didn't
we go there once and get rid of a guy, Noriega, and bring him here and put him in jail?
I went.
You went. Well, we have an eyewitness to history.
Yeah, it only happened. It only lasted 60 days. It was shut down quickly. Yeah, I was temporary duty for 60 days in Panama when that happened.
What was a little Grenada? Wasn't that the place that Reagan invaded?
I heard about that. Yeah, it's a long
I
time.
was in summer school history class when that happened. And I mean, my teacher who taught history and was not an uneducated man, he said, I had to get a much better atlas than I had in my living room out to find Grenada. That's how tiny it was. And they went to save some medical students. That was one of those countries you could go to and get a medical degree and then come back and practice in the U.S.
Let's see.
So we've had stupid before. We just haven't had stupid every day.
Yeah. Swords. This just feels like posturing, meaning like tossing cards on troops going there. They're throwing around dominance, where the United States jumping their chests. I do get the Page of Swords here with a new military action kind of thing. But it doesn't go anywhere, really. I think they're just doing this like a Panama Canal thing. It's like we want it, but it doesn't seem to go anywhere because I got the restriction. 8 of Swords restriction. Mm-hmm. Surrounded by the Ace of Wands and a little bit of heartbreak, which is telling me, like, why are you doing this? This is nonsense. Rose Blue said, like, it's a waste of money.
Well, not only that, but think it through. That's the way that everybody has to go through so they don't have to sail all the way around South America. I presume everybody had enough social studies to understand that. Do you think China is going to let the U.S. run the Panama Canal? I mean, that's why we got out of it, because of international pressure. If you think it all the way through to its logical end, it doesn't work. Did you see the thing about Josh Shapiro's house was set on fire?
Unbelievable. These radical lunatics just... And we wonder why MAGA is out of their minds.
Well, and this is, if that happened in Texas and they set Governor Wheely's house on fire, all of Fox News and everybody be all outraged. You won't see anything about that on Fox News or any of those folks. That's why we don't have a generalized media. We need to, and you need to follow one of the ground news or Snopes where they actually tell you where they get their information from. And that's awful to happen to Josh Shapiro. He seems like a really good guy.
Yeah. So, do you happen to read anything about that? Whistleblower said that Zuckerberg gave user information to China.
Mm-hmm.
Coordination and whatnot. Senate hearing tomorrow. Where do Senate hearings and whatnot actually lead anywhere, right?
Well, they used to when they had power to do something with it, but since it's all going into a bureaucracy that doesn't give a damn. And I was very good. I said, damn, I didn't say the S word. Okay. Let's see if this will lead to anywhere. What's going to happen is Zuckerberg's going to sit there and look like a 14-year-old who put on his father's suit and say nothing. The guy stole Facebook from 2 classmates. And then the money that helped him develop it into the bigger thing was DARPA. And if you don't know what DARPA is, go look it up. It's nobody you wanted to be friends with. And it was created as a way to control people's minds. So. And I don't pay much attention to anything. I get so many people wanting to join my channel, and when you look them up, they don't exist. I do that. That's what I do for my off hours.
Oh, I think, doesn't Zuckerberg have court cases going on?
Yep.
Antitrust or something?
Yep.
Because I got him losing some kind of legal.
Mm-hmm.
It's strong. And
well, they want to take, he can't run the marketplace place the items, make money. I mean, he has the whole thing. It's a monopoly in a way. That's one thing I hate. I won't buy anything that's advertised on Facebook, which is why I don't advertise on Facebook. But because they control it all. And if you ever, for those of you who think, oh, what a great way to make money, they take so much more money than the normal marketplace would ever take from people. It's unreal. So what did you get? How bad? I got it's not going to be a good thing for Mark Zuckerberg. They could throw him to the wind, and that would make Elon happy.
So yeah, he's there. There may be restrictions coming out. These are good cards, but it's in between a page of swords. So it's like our prosperity relies on some kind of new restriction from this page of swords. Some kind of challenge to his authority. But in the end, he's going to have some restriction or isolation. He's going to be defensive. 7 of Cups. What he's going to say is fantasy.
Yeah, I got the 7 of Swords. He's going to be stealing from other places to talk.
So his energy is going to be off. He's going to be defensive. He's going to be doing like a 7 of Swords, 7 of Cups. Blah. So yeah, it feels like his energy is going to be off, but eventually it feels like it's going to be a lot of new restrictions again and end up against him with that page of swords.
I got that it's going to be a woman who's going to do the harder interrogation in this hearing. I don't know who's on the thing, but I have that justice is going to be served. Things are going to be revealed people needed to see. And they're going to tell him do this or else. He's not going to pay any attention. He's not going to take any of their advice.
I know. For some reason, Amy Klobuchar popped in my head.
Ah, she may be on that committee.
She seems to be on a lot of committees. Good ones, anyway. I know. I hate Facebook so much. Half my feed is disinformation, and none of them listen to it.
But I keep track of my high school friends.
Yeah, for my grandkid pictures and my daughters and other family, I wouldn't go on there. But every time I click on something on my notification, then I got to see the nonsense, and then I just get sad again. At least got a good deal, at least. Yeah, there can be deals anywhere.
There's a lot of businesses going out of business because they're so unsure about how they can import, so they're not getting new deals.
This is true, Nanette. We'll be in big trouble. China calls in our debt.
So's China. There's a whole other side to China we don't look at. China doesn't have enough workers. China doesn't have enough people to take care of the people that are in the country. Their one-child experiment just blew up in their face. And unless they can figure out a way to export their control into other countries around them, which is not a pleasant thought, China's in a lot of trouble too. So I'm not saying that, and Trump doesn't even know any of that. So
I think that's why it caved, is because of the bond market.
He caved because they said, you try to tell Americans they can't have their smartphones? They already feel like they're being ripped off and overcharged. I mean, it's one thing when they piss off little old ladies like me who get Social Security. It's another thing when you piss off young people who want their smartphones.
Fairness doctrine in 2 years? No.
The fairness doctrine only worked because the government really controlled the airwaves. You had to use airwaves. And so everybody who was putting media out was coming through a little box that had 13 stations, and then the ones that were in the UHF, which you couldn't tune in unless you had a small child holding your antenna. Back in the old days, it would be very, very, I mean, what are they going to do? I was in broadcasting when cable was starting to break through, and they were saying then it was going to bust it, and it did. Because you're a broadcast station, you have to abide by these rules, and you're going to have somebody throw anything down a wire, and you don't control that wire. So.
I don't know. It feels quite a bit away, but eventually there'll be something to control the disinformation. I'm not sure what it is, but.
Well, they cut off one thing that was going to help control it. One of the things that when they tore the Department of Education apart, there was a woman down here that had created a curriculum to teach children how to discern on social media, how to discern what's true and what's false. And it was from the first grade on. And her whole program got dumped.
I guess that's mandatory curriculum in Finland.
It was mandatory curriculum in the private school Susan went to. From day one, she had how to think with discernment, and it shows.
We definitely need something like that, but I think we're many years away from some kind of legislation like that. Okay.
Somebody was talking about deleting posts. What they're telling foreigners to do. In Australia, they're warning you if you're traveling to the US to get a burner phone. Because if you have anything on your phone, they demand your phone when you enter the country, the US, and they scan it. If you say anything negative about the president or his administration, they will seize your phone. And so they're telling people, just get a phone with just phone numbers you need to talk to back home. Get rid of the rest of it.
No. I don't see our troops fighting for Russia.
The White House may want them to. I don't see an American soldier really doing it. Russians don't want to fight for Russia. Are you kidding? They're taking them out of prison.
You know, I got this weird thing on the bottom of I can't get rid of it.
What?
Do you see that on yours?
What?
Referral link?
Oh, that's a new thing. Because I
can't get rid of it.
You can't. You can download it. It says streaming now, and then it says this is get a $10 discount. It's a way for you to advertise. If you had a guest on who didn't have StreamYard, it would be a way to entice them to join StreamYard. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
I went through this the other day with Deborah Lupian.
Okay.
I know. I don't have to get a warning. I've already traveled here. I can't get out, and I have family in Canada who says, "Oh, come up and visit." I don't think they let me back in.
Pretty much.
And I'm not telling you to not post what you want to post or say what you want to say. Say it, but just understand fighting with these guys, you're shadow boxing, because anything we see on the wall today, they'll change the light and it won't be there tomorrow.
Carrie subs in a school in her area. They are teaching about disinformation.
Very good.
Excellent. I got it. Oh, until you get to Oklahoma, right? They're going to only teach the Bible, not disinformation.
Think that's a point of view, Scott.
Never did hear if they actually got the $3 Chinese Trump Bible in the schools.
I really would, if I had enough time in my life, I'd go through that and find out all the misprints. But
well, bless you, Julie. No worries, dear. Thank you a lot.
Whatever you can do.
When will it stop? What is it? The crazy?
Okay. We're now, if you haven't listened to any of the more knowledgeable astrologers, we're in an incredible time of change and it will not stop. And the reason it's happened as it's happened is because of how it's working. It's happening a lot quicker than it would have if we had not had him in office. So all you can say is,
when does that change? Are we in a 9-year?
no, what's happening is 2025 and 2025. Actually, by July, the worst of this year is supposed to be over. But to tell you the truth, guys, I studied astronomy as a child. I studied astrology as an adult. And when I studied it, the day that I started studying astrology was the day that Iran and Iraq went to war. Because I remember our astrologer made us charts to see how that worked. And that's back when you had to draw the chart. There were no computers spitting them out, which will dissuade you from doing astrology. Anyway, we're in an and I got really sick of this listening to in the last couple of years when people kept saying, oh, the next full moon is going to be the most important full moon we've had in 47,000 years or whatever. Anyway, we are, if you follow the mundane planets, which are the big ones beyond Saturn, if you follow where they are in charts, we have not seen those planets in this layout in thousands and thousands of years. And the last time we saw it was when, historically, if you look at historical patterns, we slipped into the patriarchy. And we've been in the patriarchy, and we are now switching away from it. And Saturn going into Aries is a big part of it. And then I believe it's Neptune's the next one that's going to go into Aries. They're all making huge changes. And these are more than generational shifts because those planets move so slowly. These are historical shifts. So I really do get tired of astrologers saying things like, this is the most important month we've had in da-da-da years. But actually right now we are in those. And things are changing so rapidly. There's a few astrologers I follow, curmudgeon Steve Judd, and he is a curmudgeon. But I've looked over his history of what he's called and what he's seen and trends he understands. Some astrologers really try to freak you out. Astrology, they're talking about the mundane, that's the whole planet. That's everybody all at once. And have you, I mean, I don't know how old the rest of you are, but I've never seen the earth in so much turmoil. And it's not just that they have cameras everywhere. I've read a lot of world history, and there's just not been a time when, even in World War II, you had this side and that side. I mean, there were lines. There aren't even lines. You don't even know who the enemy is almost anymore. So when will it stop? They're saying it's supposed to slow down, and by 2027, we won't even recognize the world we live in. Now, is that a threat or a promise? I don't know. They didn't ask me to peddle the planets and move them faster, so.
I threw cards just so I did see.
And what'd you see?
We're making progress with the 6 of Wands. Changing priorities, and we're in the first stage. Mm-hmm. So things are happening. We just don't see it because it's chaotic, right? Mm-hmm. the current, we're in the death stage, the new beginning, the transformation, strength and courage, and then the Page of Cups. It's what I'm getting is that's the small little things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it could be the small movements of people actually seeing the light. You need chaos to bring change. You know, like you might have to get in a car accident to see the light of your bad ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in certain situations, you need a tower moment, and people are getting that tower moment. Moving forward, you got the betrayal, the Seven of Swords,
Mm-hmm.
the Hangman, trying to figure out how to let go, and then strength and reserve, like the Nine of Wands, being resilient, protecting what's yours. So it feels like certain folks and certain ideas are seeing it. You know, they're getting, you get hit on your own, you start to see change, you start to have different feelings. Like if your partner finally comes up and talks to you and says, I'm tired of your crap.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to take it anymore. That kind of wakes up change, right? And this
Mm-hmm.
is what I'm seeing right now. We're in that beginning stages of the wake up. The High Priestess, the end card's the High Priestess. It starts off.
Mm-hmm.
The future is not seen yet. This is part of the change. We're not seeing it yet. The Five of Swords, that's the strife and the tensions. We are all getting there. Tariffs, we're getting it. Ace of Pentacles of the manifestation, the new opportunities, and Ace of Cups. The beauty is in the end. So when the cards aren't saying when, the cards are saying this is part of the process.
Right.
The end result is when enough people wake up to the fact of we're getting hosed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the High Priestess tells you this is all foretold.
Mm-hmm.
This is the process. This is how we have to deal with it. How long? Tell me. From a spiritual, a creator aspect, it's a never-ending battle. It's not like a timeline. We're always going to be in that fight for good or evil.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest achievements, I mean, total is like 9 years away. But when is this chaos? There's like a 2 months kind of feeling,
Yeah.
or 2 months, 2 years. So yeah, 2 months is, that's that
Mm-hmm. That's
June,
July.
July time frame. So I mean, like the great upheaval is like 2 months away. Complete is like 2 years away. So that would be like after the midterms, and
Mm-hmm.
so possibly getting changed. So yeah, I think we're in a 2-2 situation of the current upheaval. But as far as great prosperity of where we want humanity, we're still like 9 years away, kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
The old adage of ascension, getting to a higher vibrational level, we're talking the 9 year, approximately 9 year route. And but 9 in numerology is like the completion stage. you've achieved everything you needed to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get to start over again. So that's what I kind of sense. Hope that brings comfort and understanding. Lost all comments.
Somebody commented about the fact that the last time Republicans put tariffs on everything, well, that led to the Great Depression. And yes, it was in the Great Depression that Roosevelt got elected to be president, and the House and the Senate remained primarily Democratic, with some few exceptions until Reagan showed up. Well, Nixon a little bit, but Reagan really. And so just saying, and there's what you can do is work on your own internal energy, because we know that we're in a period of serious change, not just historically, but internally and spiritually, what's going on with us. And why do so many readers and channelers see such a different future? I need a whole lot more explanation on that, because I've seen astrologers that see it becoming very totalitarian in AI. I've seen other ones that see people really, when that threat hits them, feeling empowered and breaking out beyond it. I've seen us all turn into light. I've heard them talk about us all turning into light beings, which is even more different. So I don't know.
My perspective is like, it depends on the reader's wholeness and vibration themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's at their own love vibration.
Right.
A higher vibration person will see more accurately. And it also is their life path, their growth, how many lives they've had before, how they connect with their angels and guides and what they've accumulated. So you can take into our lives what we've had and seen,
Mm-hmm.
and how we interpret what's going on. You know, it's like some remote viewers or whatever be shown different things that don't resonate with me at all. And it's like, why would they be showing you, this type of a scenario that makes no sense? I mean, it's hard to explain. But I think every reader, every person is at a different vibration level. You get, the higher you are connected, the greater you can see. So it's like with anyone, when you meet people, you can just tell, I'm not going to like that person, or I'm not going to, because they're not on the same level as me.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sharing that same vibration. We're not connecting. So readers see things differently because they have different experiences, different evolution, growth of their souls.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're here to decide what we interpret as truth or fact or resonate with. So that's just my sense and feelings. It's a soul growth level, and how, if we're in a good soul place in our own lives, we cannot interpret properly if we're not happy, loving, not dealing with chaos in the background in our own lives.
Mm-hmm.
That raises our vibrations. That gives us better clarity. So that's why, I used to love watching these people on Next Level Soul, these channelers that have endings, everything. And it became more clickbaitish to me. And it's like, well, none of these things ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, he'll put on those things like, change the world. This is, it's like, that never happened. They say next month this is going to happen, or we're going to, expand our souls, and boom. And none of it ever happened. There's no great expansion. And it's like, it just seems more clickbaitish of what? You know?
Well, it people ought to take some caution and look at last November. I mean, because we all were seeing the same thing. And I mean, really honest to God, different readers other than Scott and I were predicting things, and that's not what happened. And somebody said in here, I don't want to hear this. I want you to tell me the truth. I want you to tell me what's going to happen. Well, not that I would ever discourage anyone from watching us on Sunday mornings, but all we can tell you is I can tell you that when I'm in the zone and I'm reading things, it's like I'm a little energy spark in the middle of a great big one of those balls that has fire going out all over. And I can, when I pull a card, I pull in the energy from all around that ball. And that ball can be the future, it can be the past, it can be immediately beside me, it can be, where exactly where I sit right now. But all I can do is deal with the energy that I pull in. And I I I keep telling people, people say, "Oh, it must be so cool to live like you live and all this stuff." No, it's not. It's not at all, because we're wrong too, and we know we're wrong. And I get very troubled when people say things to me like, "Tell me what's going to happen next week," or "What's going to happen to this person or that person." That's why I won't do that kind of cosmic spying on people.
I mean, it's honestly what spirit tells you, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's been many things that personal readings, whatever, I shared the exact date things would happen, and it did.
But that's one person.
Right,
You're not
it's one
trying to deal
person.
with the whole world.
I remember when, like our friend Virgil Ortiz, right? I had on my channel a few times years ago, whatever. He makes fabulous pottery, and he asked me in a personal reading about it, when he's going to get this contract, which ended up being a Vegas show, or whatever. And the date popped in my head, December 14th.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened on December 14th that year.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that happen. But you're dealing with one person's energy and one person's situation, not 360 million people of the United States and all these moving parts. And we read the energy. And it's like, I remember we were reading on 2020 election, who's going to be the nominee? And I remember people getting all excited about Bernie. A lot of people were excited about Bernie. And I did my reading, and I heard that guides told me, no, Bernie's going to drop out the day after the primaries.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to call it quits. And he did.
Didn't
so
we go at Super Tuesday?
What's that?
The Super Tuesday, the one that has so many states in it?
Yeah, April 7th, Super Tuesday, all states. November or April 8th, he dropped out and put his weight behind Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were pissed off that I made that prediction. And I'm like, well, I told you, this is what they told me,
Mm-hmm.
But, Bernie didn't get the nod. So it's always, that's the way things work.
And being in the middle of campaigns, guys, there's so many moving. That's why I can feel behind all this turmoil we're sensing that we get to see little bits of, and you may get to see real bits or false bits, but we're seeing little bits of. There's so much more going on back there.
Oh yeah, I remember live read. It was a live read. Kathy D asked me, well, I need to move where it's going to be. I told her exactly where she would move to, and she did.
Mm-hmm.
Things are crazy.
Yeah, and you'll do it in on Tuesdays when I have open mic, kind of whatever chat we have. I've had some people send me some really nice little bonus checks through my PayPal because they said, you didn't realize that you just kind of did a spiel on what you saw happening around a situation, but you pointed me to the person that was misleading my business proposal. And he said, and I figured it out, and I looked at it, and it was him, and I proved it, and he's gone.
Yeah, Bernie, he's got a great message. He's been a fighter, He just was not meant to be president.
No. So, and we can't tell you who is, I mean, we felt like we were reading the cards the best we could, but I think right now, what we're not talking about presidencies or elections or that stuff right at the moment. We're talking about how people cope with it, and day to day, you cope with it to the best of your ability and your minds to reflect on it.
Yeah.
And it is the human ego that gets in the way.
You know, I don't, as far as Kamala winning or 45 winning, I think it was just the purpose that we were supposed to get.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've had many readings where spirit will tell you a wrong answer purposely. Because it's the greater good of the person receiving that message.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember my daughter was taking her test to get to be a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me, Dad, am I going to pass my first test? And I go, no, honey, you're going to fail. And she failed miserably because she didn't study enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then she's got to wait so many weeks and pay another fee to take the test again. And she's like, oh my God, am I going to pass it this time? I really need to start working you know. And I'm like, and even asked another friend too. I'm like, is she going to pass, you know? And we both were getting, oh, she's just going to come up short. And I told her that, right? Well, she studied harder because I said she was going to pass up short, and she passed with flying colors.
Great.
So I think they tell you what you need to hear for that time. You know, you get a reading in your life, you get a life thing saying, oh yeah, you're going to win the lottery, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. It's all going to be peaches and roses. Well, you don't learn a thing in your soul progression if you get all this exact info along the way. And even my buddy asked me, well, what's going to happen with my marriage? You know, is this going to work out? I go, well, no, you're going to get divorced in about 8 years. What? That's going to be suck. I don't want to get divorced. Well, it's going to happen. It's your soul contract. He got divorced in 8 years.
Well, to some extent, though, unless it's really just destroying you, I think people have free choice on how to deal with that, you know, and they know. I mean,
Like,
some things are obvious.
Yeah. It's approximate timing, but he wasn't with the person he's supposed to spend his life with. He's still got life lessons to grow.
The biggest question,
It's kind of like I compare life to driving.
Mm-hmm.
So you have your soul path where you're supposed to meet, who you're supposed to meet. So you're driving and there's construction on the way. That's an obvious life path change. So you take a different path, but eventually you're going to get your way back to where you're supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it's meeting the right person, getting the right job, you know, being the right family. So eventually we get there. You know, you get there where you're supposed to be. So, you know, whether it's meeting my person, if I didn't date that person and I wouldn't have met my Nancy now, right? But eventually it led us back to where we're supposed to be years later. So it's think of energy as intentions. We can read each other's intentions. It could be I planted that seed, but no. It was basically a tower moment why he had to get divorced. So,
Well,
I'm not going to go into it, but
yeah.
it was not something that could even be worked out. It was a tower moment, demanded divorce in that situation.
Well, and you know, and those things happen, but
This is all true. We didn't see Elon the monster coming in. to my day, I will, in my soul, I believe Hillary won and I believe Kamala won. Everything was rigged.
Well, and it's up to, and the other thing that's happened in these times of change is we're all looking for the hero. We're looking for the person who's going to come in and make it all right. And right after Hillary's thing, it was, oh, well, Mueller's going to come in and his report's going to make it. And it's going to prove to everybody what happened. Well, it may have proved to those who are capable of reading what happened, but everybody instead of putting the intention out there, he's gone. Their intention was Mueller's going to make him gone. We have to take personal responsibility for what happens around us, and we can't leave it to Bob Mueller or to Jack Smith, going to come in and do it. We need to, each time we think of it, somebody is calling him Trumple Thinskin. That's cute. We need to focus on that for if you want to think about him, but I just don't think about him. And I know people say, well, you're deluding yourself. You're an ostrich with your head in the sand. Fine. My head, my sand. Okay. Got it. But things are moving around me in a very different way and in a very positive way. So and there's going to be a lot of pain. And, I'm in line to get caught up in the pain. After all, folks.
We didn't foresee the Republicans sticking their head in the sand and going along with extortion and just.
Y'all didn't. That's because you haven't lived in Texas.
Selling their souls.
Well, at one point, Sean went up years ago and he ran a gubernatorial primary in Massachusetts for a Democrat. And he was amazed because the Republicans he met in Massachusetts would be Democrats in Texas. First of all, that just their whole view of how the world worked had shifted so much, or was different from what he was used to. And that was when Elizabeth Warren got beat out, and then she won the next time. And Sean just kept saying, you guys aren't looking at what that guy's doing. I mean, he's going to do this. Oh, no, I don't know. They do those tricks in Texas. They can't do them up here. Well, unless you're willing to allow that the snakes in the grass are going to be the snakes in the grass, no matter what part of the world they live in, and you think it's too low for you to look at what they do, we're going to be stuck with them forever. I don't trust them as far as I can throw any of them. And they're Democrats that are running around with a D after their name that support the Republican agenda in this state. We have major Democratic politicians for entertainment purposes only who are business partners with major Republican fundraisers. Well, how can you be a supposed leader of the Democratic Party and have a guy who makes you tons of money that's on the other side? And that's published. It was published in the Houston Tribune. So. So, what did you highlight, Scott?
Oh, what was it? Oh, Arcadian Proud. I tried to send light to the guides and angels around those people doing the things, to use it to help deflect the worst of it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good way to use your energy. Don't use it for hate. Don't use it for fear. Oh, someone's new mantra is they're putting their head in the sand. Okay, fine. I'll wave at you when we're down there.
Oh, yeah, I heard, again, North Carolina is not getting money from FEMA in any help. Mm-hmm. Third time, Trump has not helped, but even though Joe Biden, FEMA was right there.
Mm-hmm.
Northern Michigan and northern Wisconsin is having power outages from ice storms. They say it could be like 3 weeks yet before northern Michigan gets their power back.
Is that the Upper Peninsula?
there was bad storms and ice, power lines down from all the ice and whatnot. Still a lot of power. That's one of the reasons Gretchen Whitmer tried to go to the White House, do a little suck up to try to get help.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's slamming her for going in there. But yeah. So anyway, bring inspiration time.
Inspiration time, yay!
So I got a king and a queen, and the seven of Michael, which is the seven of swords. And these are powerful energies of brilliance and generosity, and going through what's right, trying to decipher a better way. Seven of Michael is all about deciphering for a better way. So it's like keep the eyes on the prize and know exactly what you want from benefiting from that experience. Because there is a better way when you review all details.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got 44, the top master number.
Good.
Which is good. And it's got a lovely message that we need today. It's gift revealed. Fairies love good surprises. However, when they are faced with a surprise that isn't quite what they asked for, they tend to pout. Elementals are much like us. Pouting soon turns into a smile and a laughter as they realize that something comes from owning and understanding that gift. If life gives something you're not completely thrilled with, keep an open mind. Often the best things come disguised. Look below the surface and see what the situation's really bringing to you. O spirit of the night that hides the light of day, I call upon your wisdom to help me on my way. I look below the surface and see what lies within. I cast about some fairy dust and sprinkle it with my whim. I judge not what I see. I look for and let it be. I do not know within my grasp a gift that will soon be there. Surprise someone today. So, out of all this crap that we're going, why is this happening and why is that happening? There's a gift underneath it. Just we have to be patient. We don't know everything all at once. And yeah, and the energies are intense and they're mind-boggling. It's right here.
Yes, it is. It sure seems like everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to in the end.
No, Maggot. Okay, first of all, Maggot's not going to blame anybody because it means they have to take away their prince and they don't want to lose their prince. They're stuck in the same place many Dems were when they thought Mueller was going to solve it or Jack Smith was going to solve it. Nobody else is going to solve it but us. And each of our own intentions. And that means if you can and you do walk, that's extremely important. If you demonstrate, extremely important. If you send emails and postcards, and I know it gets tiring and people goes, what difference does it make? Trust me, what the Republicans are waiting is for when that pressure starts to feel like it's going away. And don't let it go away.
Good.
That's what you can do.
All right, folks, stay out of the chaos. Send love and light to the people the judges. That would be a good love and light to the judges.
Love and light to those judges, man. They need it.
ACLU and the folks that are suing the nonsense. Love and light to them. Paying the course.
And I will be on my show Tuesday. I'm not doing a show with Terry tomorrow. She's got to take some time off for family stuff. I'm going to do my show. Yep. I'm going to do my show on Tuesday. And then there's still time if you're interested in learning how to read tarot. The classes are still on my website at crystaldirections.com. I will be starting 9 candles on the 24th of April. So those are my big deals.
Good deal. All right. Happy Easter week. There you go.
That's right.
Have a blessed day, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, bye.